There is a phrase I use a lot with business owners because it cuts through the noise very quickly. Revenue is vanity, profit is sanity, and cash is reality. Now, that can sound like a clever line, but it is far more than that. It is one of the most important business lessons an owner can learn, because I have met plenty of business owners who are busy, selling, winning jobs, turning over more money than ever before, and still laying awake at night wondering why the business feels tight. They are asking, if sales are up, why is there no money? They're asking, if the accountant says we made a profit, why does the bank account feel empty? They're also asking, if the bank account looks good today, why am I still nervous about wages, tax, suppliers, and next month? These are not small questions. They are leadership questions. They are business owner questions that need to be asked. And if you do not understand them, you can be working very hard on the wrong things. I'm Phil Bajura at Action Coach Business Steps. In this video, I want to help you understand why cash is king, why the bank account is not a direct reflection of profit, and why your revenue is not always the answer to a struggling business. More importantly, I want to show you where a business owner should apply their attention, focus, and energy to work on the right things. Because in business, the problem is always, or is not always, that the owner is not working hard enough. Often the problem is that the owner is working hard in the wrong area. They're chasing sales when they should be fixing margin. They're checking the bank when they should be reviewing debtors. They're pushing a team to go faster when the real issue is pricing, invoicing, rework, stock, job control, or poor financial rhythm. The successful owner learns to look beyond just the surface. Let's break that statement down. Revenue is vanity. Revenue is the top line. It is the number people like to talk about. We're doing 2 million. We're doing 5 million. We had a record month. We're growing fast. That is all fine. But revenue on its own does not tell you whether the business is healthy. You can have high revenue and low margin. You can have high revenue and too much discounting. You can have high revenue and poor cash collection. You can have high revenue and a team that is completely overloaded. And you can also have high revenue and every job you win creates more pressure than profit. So revenue can be useful, but it can also feed the ego. The statement, profit is sanity. Profit starts to tell you whether the business model makes sense. Are you selling at the right price? Are you delivering efficiently? Do you have your costs under control? Are you overpaying for rework, waste, overtime, mistakes, poor quoting, or undercharging? Profit brings sanity because it asks, is this business actually making money from the work that it does? And then we come to the third part, cash is reality. Cash is what allows you to pay wages, pay suppliers, and pay the tax office. Cash pays the rent, the fuel, the materials, the loan repayments, the subcontractors, the software, and also the owner. Cash is what keeps the business alive, while profit is still only a number on a report. One of the traps I see with small to medium business owners is using the bank account as the main management report. They log in, look at the balance, and make a decision. If the bank balance looks strong, they relax. Maybe they spend. Maybe they hire. Maybe they delay invoicing discipline because there seems to be enough cash there. If the bank balance looks weak, they panic. They chase sales, push harder, get frustrated with the team, cut things too quickly, or avoid decisions that actually need to be made. But the bank account is not the profit report, nor should it be the lever that determines your motivation level. The bank account is a timing report. It tells you what cash is sitting there today, but it does not tell you what belongs to you. What is committed, what is owed, or what is coming next. Some of the money in the bank may already belong to the tax office through GST, BAS, PAYG, or superannuation. Some of it may need to go to suppliers next week. Some of it may be customer deposits for work that you still need to deliver. Some of it may disappear when payroll runs, and some of it may be sitting there because you've delayed paying a bill, not because the business is profitable. And on the other side, a low bank balance does not always mean the business made no profit. You may have money tied up in debtors, stock, work in progress, equipment, tax payments, loan repayments, or growth investments. This is why a business owner must stop asking only how much is in the bank. A better question to ask is, what is the real position of the business? It's important to remember that the bank balance is only a result. It is the result associated with all of the actions and activity that produce the result. Now, here is where many owners get caught. When the business feels tight, the default answer is often we need more sales. Sometimes that may be true, but not always. If every sale you make has poor margin, more sales can make the problem bigger. If your invoicing is slow, more sales can create more work in progress and more cash pressure. When your teams are too loose, more sales can increase debtors and stretch the business further. If your team is already overloaded, more sales can create overtime, mistakes, rework, and unhappy customers. If your pricing is wrong, more sales may just mean you are buying yourself a bigger job with less reward. So sales do not automatically become cash. There is a process: lead, sale, delivery, invoice, collection, cash. If that process is weak, revenue can go up and cash can still go down. That is why cash flow is not just a bookkeeping issue. It's a leadership issue, a systems issue, and a discipline issue. You must know your numbers in order to be making the right decisions. Cash is king because timing matters. A business can be profitable on paper and still run out of cash if the timing is wrong. You may make a profit on a job, but if you pay wages, materials, and suppliers before the customer pays you, the business has to fund the gap. You may make a profit for the quarter, but if your BAS superannuation, payroll tax, loan repayments, and supplier run all hit in the same period, the bank account can feel exposed. You may have a good month, but if the next month has fewer invoices going out, a large annual subscription comes in, equipment repairs, or a slow debtor, the pressure returns. So the successful owner does not just ask, are we profitable? They ask, when does the cash move? They must be looking at debtor days, at gross margin. They must also look or need to look at work in progress. What are the stock levels and what is the cash conversion cycle? More importantly, they need to look at the 13-week cash flow forecast. They know what cash is actually free or free cash and what cash is already committed. That is a very different level of leadership. This is where the traits of a successful business owner show up. The first trait is awareness. They are willing to look at the numbers without emotion, not with fear, not with blame, not with avoidance, but with curiosity. The second trait is discipline. They do not check the numbers only when the bank account hurts. They have a rhythm and they review their numbers every week. The third trait is margin thinking. They understand that not all revenue is good revenue. A bad job at a bad margin can consume the team, absorb the cash, and still make the business look busy. The fourth trait is accountability. They do not allow invoicing, collecting, pricing, purchasing, and spending to drift. Someone owns it. There is a due date and there is follow-up. The fifth trait is courage. Sometimes the numbers tell you to have a difficult conversation. Raise the price, stop discounting, tighten terms, chase overdue money, reduce the waste, change the way jobs are managed, and say no to the wrong work. That is not always comfortable, but it is necessary. Being successful in business is not about being the busiest person in the room. It's about being the clearest. So where should your attention, focus, and energy go? Attention goes to the facts, not gut feel, not hope, not I think we're okay, not sales are good, so it must be fine. Attention goes to the real numbers: sales, gross margin, net profit, cash at bank, debtors, creditors, tax obligations, stock on hand, work in progress, and future cash requirements. Focus goes to the constraint. Once you can see the numbers, you ask, what is actually restricting the business? Is it pricing? Is it gross margin? Is it slow invoicing or poor collection? Is it too much stock? Is it too many jobs being started and not finished? Here's a big one. Is it rework? Is it owner drawings? Is it tax not being set aside? And is it the wrong customers? Do not try to fix everything at once. Focus on the constraint that changes the pattern. Energy. Energy goes to action. This is where owners often fall down. They review the numbers, they feel the pressure, they have a meeting, and then they go back to the same cycle. Energy means you install the rhythm, make the decision, assign the owner, and then set a due date, then follow through. The right things are not always glamorous. Sometimes the right thing is invoice every job on the day it is completed. Sometimes it's a weekly debtor call list. It may be reviewing gross margin by job. Sometimes it can be a pricing increase or setting aside tax before you spend. Sometimes it's stopping work that looks busy but burns cash. That is leadership. Let me give you a few examples of what this looks like in real coaching conversations. I've worked with owners who were very proud of their revenue growth, and rightly so. They had won more work, the team was busy, and the phone was ringing. But when we looked deeper, business was under pressure because invoicing was happening too late. Jobs were being completed, but invoices were waiting for paperwork, approvals, or someone to get around to it. The owner thought the issue was sales. The real issue was the gap between doing the work and getting the cash in. The right thing was not to chase more leads first. The right thing was to tighten the sales to delivery to invoice system. We put a weekly review in place, created an invoice trigger, gave someone ownership, and made overdue debtors visible every week. That changed the conversation. I've also worked with owners where the bank account looked healthy for a period, but the money was not truly available. BAS was coming, super was coming, supplier bills were becoming due. Customer deposits had been taken for work not yet delivered. In that situation, the right thing was to stop treating the bank account as spending money. We separated tax commitments and operating cash. The owner started making decisions from the real cash position, not the emotional comfort of a bank balance. I've worked with businesses where more sales were actually creating more strain because the margin was too low. They were discounting to win work, then spending extra labour, overtime, and management attention delivering work that was never going to produce the right return. The right thing there was not sell harder. It was price properly, measure job profitability, reduce the rework, and learn to say no to work that made the business busier but not better. These are the conversations that change a business. If you want to lead the business properly, install a weekly money rhythm. Every week, look at 5 things. 1, what was sold and at what margin. 2, what was delivered and what can be invoiced now. 3, what cash has come in and what is overdue. 4, what cash must go out in the next 13 weeks. And then 5, what decision needs to be made this week to protect or improve cash. Keep it simple, but do it consistently. You do not need to become the accountant. You do need to become a stronger owner. Work with your bookkeeper and accountant, but do not outsource the responsibility of understanding the numbers and the business. Because when you know the numbers, you lead differently. You stop reacting, you stop hoping, you stop making decisions from emotion, and you start building a business with control. So here is the challenge. Do not be impressed by revenue alone. Do not assume profit means cash. Do not let the bank account become your only dashboard. Revenue is vanity, profit is sanity, cash is reality. And if you want to build a better business, you must learn to apply your attention, focus, and energy to working on the right things. If this has raised questions for you, that's a good thing. If you're busy selling, growing, and still wondering why the business feels tight, then it may be time to step back and look at the real numbers, the real constraints, and the real priorities. Book a meeting with me. Let's look at where your business is right now, what is creating pressure, and what needs to change first. Because the goal is not just more sales. The goal is a stronger, more profitable, more cash-aware business that gives you more control. So take action and get results.